The STEM Society.
What's poppin', people? My name is Cole Jackson. This is the STEM Society. Welcome back. Today on the docket, I wanted to dive into Iceman, my experience with it, and talk about this theory that people are saying on the internet about him leaving UMG. You'd be surprised some of the stuff that I found that actually makes more sense than it doesn't. I want to set the table by talking about my experience with the album. So I watched the live stream from front to back. I was excited to see what Drake was going to show us. And I got to be real with you. The live stream experience with the songs, the videos and everything, that was an A+. I really enjoyed what he presented to us for this album. I think it took a lot of thought, time, definitely took a lot of money with the shit he was doing. And it just made the album a better listening experience that way. Now, after the live stream, of course, I went to go dive into the album to kind of see what I could find, kind of see what I really felt. And it's not the same, I can tell you that much. I don't want to dig too deep into how I was feeling because a lot of that is in my review that's going to drop later on this week. But let's just say it's not the same experience without the visuals than it is with the visuals. So it is really two different experiences. But getting into the album, of course, I'm going to listen to a lot of the bars and a lot of things that he's going to be saying. Now, there was a bar in there from Make Them Pay that stuck out to me the most. It was the last verse. This is what he said. And apparently, niggas' souls is for sale like the 7 C's. I gave you everything you ever need. But let me find out that Amex is the only ones that's crediting me for making y'all everything you could never be. My 6th sense kicking in because all I hear is people that are dead to me. And that's how I'm turning on my read receipts to let you know that everything that's said to me will forever be stored in my memory. I'm better off independent. They should let him leave. So that's what I pulled away from that song, which made me think a lot deeper into the release. Now, for a lot of people who don't know, he dropped 3 albums. He dropped Iceman, which is the rap album. He dropped the Hibibti, which is his melodic rap / singing album. And then he dropped the Maid of Honor album, which is more of the experimental side of things. Like this is him experimenting with sounds and his voice. A lot of different things happening on that album. So after hearing that on Iceman and after sitting with just looking at these 3 albums, knowing I got to go through 40 some odd songs, the question of why kept popping up. Why 3 albums? Why is he doing this? Like, why are we getting 3 albums that are not cohesive, that don't have a straight line through, that doesn't have anything to do with each other? It's not cohesive. Things just don't matter, right? It feels like an ego trip. Like he just was like, yo, I'm this good that I could drop 3 albums on y'all in one night. Now, that would be something that a lot of the streamers or the podcasters or the reactors would say. It's an ego play. But then I seen this video on Twitter and it made me want to dive into it even more. Listen to what this guy has to say about fulfilling his contractual needs for UMG.
So here's what went down. Drake dropped 3 separate albums in one night: Iceman, Hibibti, and Maid of Honor. Now everybody's talking about the music, but I need you to hear the business. Each one of those projects has its own SoundScan code. Why does that matter? Because Drake was allegedly on the back end of a $400 million deal with Universal Music Group, and that deal required 3 more studio albums. He knocked out his entire contractual obligation in 24 hours. UMG woke up and their biggest artist was already gone. Now he's a free agent, and reportedly a private equity firm has already put a $2 billion offer on the table. If he takes it, he bypasses the label system entirely and becomes the wealthiest artist in the history of music. More than Jay-Z, more than Taylor Swift. That's not rap beef. That's a hostile takeover. The labels have been doing artists dirty for decades, and Drake just flipped the board on all of them.
I don't know who that guy is, right? I've been trying to find out who he is, if he's a music journalist, if he's an economic journalist, is he somebody who understands music business? I don't know. I can't get a name to the face. If you're a person who's watching this video and you know who that is, please drop his name in the comments because I want to research him more and see what more he has to say about Drake releasing these albums or how is this going to affect the music economy, right? But it got my wheels turning, and it got me wanting to do a little bit more research and see if all of these statements lead to the same thing of him leaving UMG. Now, I went to a website, and it's called investing.com. They had an article. The article speculated that flooding the market with music could be a way to satisfy the album requirements faster than normal on his contract. When you think about it, that's an out. 3 albums in one night, 3 different albums. I'm looking at it from a standpoint of like this. If he needs to get out of his deal faster, why not drop 3 albums like that? Like, I was looking at it as a triple album until I heard that the guy on the Twitter video say he had 3 different sound scans for those albums. Nobody does that. Nobody does that unless they're really trying to churn this stuff out. And it just leads me closer to thinking he's trying to leave. You don't believe me? There's another article that I seen on Toronto that I looked up. There's a music journalist by the name of Eric Alper, and he said that dropping 3 albums quickly could absolutely be tied to Drake's contract situation. After reading that article, I decided to go to Twitter to see if I could find anything else. There was an old tweet from Brian Seasuk, who is the head of Audio Mac, and he had a nice little check about the deal too. This is what he said. In 2021, Drake signed a massive deal with UMG for recording music and publishing in the $400 to $500 million neighborhood. I suspect the frequency of his album drops since then is at least in part influenced by the terms of that agreement and its ultimate fulfillment. So after reading that, there's no doubt. Everybody sees it. Everybody on the business side seeing the same thing. He's trying to get out of this deal. So I did a little math, right? I looked at the albums, I looked at the years, everything. And this is what I came up with. In the 5 years that he's been signed to UMG, do you know how many albums he's dropped? 8. 8 albums. Now, I'll be real with you. Somebody on his level never drops 8 albums in 5 years. It's just not heard of. They never have the time because they're either touring, they're either doing something different, which goes along with the quality of the albums. There's no way you can have good content in your albums when you're dropping that high of a clip. Again, counting these 3, that's 8 albums in 5 years. Nobody's doing that. Nobody. I even checked his competition. I looked at what Kendrick did since he's been on TDE. Kendrick was with TDE for 14 years. Do you know how many albums he dropped in 14 years? 6. 6 albums in 14 years. And he is a top tier rapper. And he doesn't have 8 albums under his belt. No matter how Drake got him out, he still got him out. So you're going to tell me that you're going to tell me that this is just coincidence? You're going to tell me that this is all just part of the plan? This is really just an ego trip? No, he's not trying to stay with UMG. This is a move for him to leave more than anything in the world. And people are scared because if he leaves UMG, the industry is going to take a big hit. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to look at it from this point of view also. When you look at his peers, when you look at Kendrick and J. Cole, they have been executives, or they are executives right now. Kendrick Lamar has PG Lane, right? Him and Dave Free have already dropped 2 albums on their own label. They dropped GNX and they dropped Casino. Right now, they're looking pretty good. Their label, quote unquote, got their hands in everything from phones to shoes to investments, all kinds of stuff. Kendrick is out here living his life. He just ain't loud about it. And then you look at J. Cole's side of things. J. Cole has been moving independently for a few years now. Again, he was one of the highest selling artists on Even, and Even is an independent platform. J. Cole has got his masters back, and he hasn't looked back since. So why is it far-fetched that Drake would try to do the same thing? Why is it so far-fetched that he would want to get away from a label that hasn't been protecting him? So I looked up other artists to see if there's a precedent behind all of this, to see if anybody else have tried to make the same move. When I looked it up, two names popped out. There's Frank Ocean back in 2016. He finessed Def Jam out of $20 million. He gave him some bullshit ass visual album, and he financed Blonde on his own because of that deal. And then you had Lupe Fiasco. He was caught up in a really bad 360 deal, and he had to get out quick. So he dropped Lasers and Food and Liquor 2 right behind each other just to get out of his deal and start going independent. So the bar has been set for people to do this type of thing. And it looks like Drake is following the same pattern. We tend to forget that he has a lawsuit against UMG as well. And I know everybody's just like, that lawsuit is against hip hop. This is trash. When the lawsuit is him basically saying, UMG, you didn't protect my brand. My brand brings you money. And you guys forgot about that. And again, it got dismissed. He's doing appeals. But at the same time, does that not come off as somebody who's angry with their label? Does that not come off as a nigga who's trying to get out as soon as possible? Does that not look like somebody who says, if I can't beat you the legal way, let me do it the contractual way. Let me just give you niggas what y'all need so I get the fuck out of here and go independent. And what do you think 100 Gigs was? 100 Gigs was a test to see if it could really happen. Do y'all even remember 100 Gigs? Drake gave us 100 Gigs and gave us behind the scenes footage, gave us new music that we had never heard before. 100 Gigs was a complete experience that we could download for free. I'm sorry, but that really does feel like a test to see if he could really do the independent thing, if he could run his own shit through the free market. All of these things are leading to him leaving UMG, and a lot of people don't like to accept that because a lot of people know if he leaves UMG, that's big business. Then on the other side of the coin, you have to look at what that guy said about the $2 billion deal.
Reportedly, a private equity firm has already put a $2 billion offer on the table. If he takes it, he bypasses the label system entirely and becomes the wealthiest artist in the history of music.
And a lot of people was like, that's far-fetched. But take it from somebody who's been following investment firms that have been putting together money to buy catalogs. It's not far-fetched. And it's not something that couldn't happen. It could really happen. What's better than buying a catalog? Buying the actual rapper. And that $2 billion is not far-fetched when you think about the first week sales projected for Iceman right now. He's doing over 500,000 in sales first week. Nobody's doing those numbers like that anymore. And yeah, it might seem like cheating because he's doing it with 3 albums, but damn it, he's doing it with 3 albums. All I'm saying is this. When you see something like that, when people are saying this man is trying to leave UMG, the more stuff you look up and you actually dig around, the more it doesn't seem far-fetched. I'll bring it all the way back around to what I said in the very beginning. These 3 albums are not cohesive with each other. There's no line through. Nothing connects these albums. It was very random that we got 3 albums from him all of a sudden. It doesn't feel like he's been taken care of at UMG also. He's been very disappointed the last 2 years. And that's not just because of the rap battle. It's because he's having a war with his label. All of this stuff makes a whole lot more sense when you start connecting the dots. Now, I might come off as a conspiracy theorist. I might come off as some kind of crazy fool. But at the end of the day, I've been more right than I have been wrong with a lot of this stuff. And I'm pretty sure that this is on the right side of everything else. It just makes a whole lot more sense. I don't know how this is going to turn out. I don't know how this is going to end. But all I know is there are a lot of arrows pointed to him leaving. What do you think? Do you think this is going to give Drake the opportunity to get out of his contract by releasing more music? Do you think Drake is going to re-sign with UMG and just stay a slave? Or do you think that, hey, the game is the game? Tell me in the comments down below and let's have a conversation about it. Before we get out of here, I have a Cole's Corner, quick Cole's Corner. And it's about a beef that I never thought I would see coming. Rory and Mal are beefing with Rick Ross all of a sudden. Listen to some of the back and forth that these two have had.
And I know we are the Drake Bias podcast, but I'm speaking from a very objective place. We didn't put enough light into how weird it was that Rick Ross entered into that rap beef.
Yes,
What did you have to, like, why are you in this whole thing? And then you came up with an excuse that it was because Drake didn't clear his verse for French Montana's album, which made all the sense in the world because everyone was waiting for Drake to say something in the biggest moment, and it wasn't about to be a verse he did 10 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then French Montana is sitting next to him going like, I was fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
So what the fuck are you doing, Rick Ross?
But
You're finding any way to just get in this shit, and now you're telling, I want to see you win, homie. Shut up. Shut up. He's one of my favorite rappers. He's hilarious. His discography is incredible. But that's some weirdo. Like, that's super weird.
Yeah, but
is that not weird?
We knew what that was in the moment, though. We said that. We said it was weird for him to do that. We said he was trying to capitalize at the moment. He shot a video for the song with a bunch of Bel Air around him. Like, people were trying to capitalize in the moment. Like, we knew what that was.
Rory and Mally. I see why Joe Buttons fired you losers. You niggas wanted equity. How dare you minions. Everybody log into Joe Buttons. Not Rory and Mally. And let Biggs Burt know the boss waiting for him to come kiss the ring. Minions. Niggas losers. Biggs' brother was Biggs' brother sucking on the dicks of his Biggs' brother.
I love this. Every second of it. I fucking love this. This is the matchup that I never thought I wanted to see. Rory and Mal, you got Rory who's going to humble this Rick Ross, being like, yo, man, you got one of the greatest catalogs ever. You're one of my favorite artists, but you're just weird, so on and so forth. And then you got Mal, who is one of the best truth benders. I'm not going to call him a liar, but one of the best truth benders, he should be on Avatar, that I've ever heard in my life, going up against Rick Ross, the biggest liar in hip hop next to the Game, which I told y'all that when you got the apology on that Apple Music interview. This is great because I already know Rick Ross is going to throw some of the craziest shots ever. And I really feel like Rory and Mal are going to go scorched earth next week. They've done it before. Ask Joe Budden. But this is the matchup I've been looking for. I'm ready for this, especially with Mal. Mal is going to go crazy. He might even call the boy. The boy might even get on the phone for this shit. I can't wait. I am excited. This is very much for entertainment purposes only. I'm not saying that it's fake, but these two entities know how to drag some shit as long as they possibly can. They're still talking about the Joe Budden breakup, and that's been, 6 years, 7 years? That's been a long time. But these two entities know how to drag out a beef, make content out of it, and give us what we've been looking for, which is some funny material. I can't wait to see what else Rick Ross is going to do. I hope Rick Ross buys their building. Fuck it. Just go all out if you're going to go that way. Fuck it. Buy their building, buy their podcast, do whatever you have to do. I just know that Rory and Mal are going to have a lot of slick things to say. They're not going to go 100% off the ledge when it comes to going at Rick Ross because I don't think they want the repercussions that's going to come with that. But it's going to be entertaining. I can say that. Be on the lookout for it. So with all that being said, I'm done for today, guys. Thank you for joining me for another episode. If you like what I do, because what I do is not very easy, pay me in a like, pay me in a comment, support me with a subscription. Build my platform up to be bigger than the sun. I appreciate you guys for joining me for another episode. Take care of yourself. I'll catch you next week. Peace out.
She is kind of fucking with my money, but I meant everything I said, and I say it again.